Welcome to Food Safety Training Program. In this training, we will cover the topics: food protection, employee hygiene, and sanitation. The objectives of this training are how to prepare food safely, personal hygiene do's and do-nots, and basic sanitation methods. Food safety facts: while the food supply in the United States is one of the safest in the world, the CDC estimates 76 million people get sick. More than 300,000 are hospitalized. 5,000 Americans die each year from food-borne illness. Food sources. Food served in a licensed establishment can come from the following places: a FDA, USDA, ODA, or county licensed facility; a cottage food, or licensed, ODA, home bakery; fish that is commercially and legally caught or harvested; game animals that are commercially raised for food; pasteurized milk; all dairy products, and egg products received from a regulated facility. Food sources not allowed: whole muscle meat, or poultry, obtained from an unlicensed individual; raw milk; wild mushrooms; TCS foods that are received above 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Food items attention. Some food items require temperature control because of their ability to support the growth of bacteria. Bacteria cause illnesses and diseases which lead to people getting sick. Some of the examples are dairy products, eggs, meat, poultry, and seafood. Food-borne illness. They are often caused by pathogens in food. They often present symptoms of the flu such as nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, or fever. Many people think they will have the flu when they actually have a food-borne illness. Pathogens. What are pathogens? Any agent that can cause disease. Waterborne pathogen, Giardia or Crypto. Foodborne pathogen, E. coli or Salmonella. Non-infections agent, chemical. How do pathogens get into food? Naturally exists in raw meats and poultry. Improperly cooked foods do not destroy bacteria. Food handlers with poor personal hygiene. Poor worksite sanitation. Types of foodborne illnesses. Foodborne intoxication can be caused by a toxin or poison in food. Foodborne infection can be caused by pathogen itself. Common causes: raw or undercooked meats or poultry; holding foods at unsafe temperatures; heating or cooling foods at unsafe temperatures; cross-contamination. Top 8 common causes of foodborne illness. Improperly refrigerated foods. Improperly cooked foods. Allowing foods to enter the danger zone. Preparing foods too far in advance. Incorporating raw ingredients into foods. Poor hygiene. Improperly reheating foods. Cross-contamination. Proper temperatures. Chicken, turkey, stuffing, duck, casseroles, and stuffed pasta dishes should always be at least 165 degrees. Hamburger, meatloaf, ground beef, lamb, roasts, and veal should be at 155 degrees. Be sure to have a holding temperatures of at least 135 degrees for all hot foods, and at or lower than 41 degrees for all cold foods. Do not cross-contaminate. Utensils. Don't use cutting boards or knives for raw foods, and then cooked ones. People. Avoid coughing, sneezing, and unclean hand. Serving food. Always use a clean plate. Don't place cooked food on the same plate or cutting board that held previously raw food. Always clean all utensils and cutting boards thoroughly after use. When refrigerating food, place raw meat, poultry, and seafood in containers or sealed bags, and keep separate from other foods. Storage. Always store raw food away from pre-prepared or cooked foods. Food labels. Rule of thumb: first in, first out. Label foods as you place them in the freezer or refrigerator. New dated foods in the back, older dated foods in the front. Storage of raw foods. The top shelf should always be ready to eat, pre-cooked, or non-potentially hazardous foods. Below that, you should have raw meats, fish, seafood. Below that, you should have raw pork, ground meats, eggs. On the bottom, you should have your raw chicken, poultry, and exotic meats. Storage of utensils and equipment. At least 6 inches off the floor. Away from potentially toxic products. Spoons, knives, and forks shall be stored with the handles up. Cups and glasses should be stored in the inverted, upside down position. Employee hygiene. If you have symptoms such as diarrhea, vomiting, fever, or nausea, you cannot work in food service until your symptoms go away. If you have cold-like symptoms, you may work, but in a limited capacity. Personal hygiene. All employees shall maintain a high degree of personal cleanliness and shall conform to hygienic practices during all work periods. Clean out your clothes. Store personal belongings and clothing in proper areas. Beards and mustaches shall be trimmed, or beard guards are to be worn. While working, food handlers shall not wear hand and wrist jewelry, with the exception of wedding rings/bands. Artificial nails and finger polish are prohibited while handling exposed food, unless gloves are worn. Always wash hands before and after working with food. Personal hygiene, hand washing. The best way to prevent disease is hand washing. Always use hand soap and warm water above 100 degrees. When should you wash your hands? Examples: before starting work, after handling raw food, after taking out the garbage or cleaning, after touching your hair, face, or body, after coughing or sneezing, after eating, drinking, or smoking, after using the restroom,